day 2 on the Tuscarora Trail. How are you feeling?
I am a little bit dehydrated. Water's very sparse out there. I think I was just so exerted when I finished the hike today that it was tough to eat for a little while. My legs were cramping up. I'm not being dramatic. This is seriously, I was expecting to come into day 2 and just be all smiles and hanging out at the cabin and everything good, but my body is definitely beat up. That first 30 miles I did, so now combining day 1 and 2, is supposed to be the toughest mile, so hopefully that's in the rear view, but it's going to be a battle again tomorrow. It's a tough trail.
Right, and you're hiking southbound, and so the northern section is the hardest, so they say. So hopefully after today it gets a little bit easier on you.
Yeah.
Is that the expectation?
Yes, it's not going to be easy. We're still deep in the northern section. I don't consider it the southern section until I cross the Potomac in a few days around Hancock, Maryland. So I've still got probably 70 miles of the north section, but I'm hoping the trail is just navigable. Like today I was having a hard time staying on it, and that slows your progress tremendously, so the miles get long out there. As long as I can see those blue blazes and I'm well fueled and well hydrated and I'm not dealing with cramping or anything like that, which is a result of proper fuel and hydration, thinking I'm going to be okay.
You should be good to go. Good. For people who don't know, tell us about what you're doing.
Yeah, okay, so the Potomac Appalachian Trail Club, which we're of course employees of, and all the volunteers that are involved with this trip are involved in, is managing this trail, the Tuscarora Trail, from terminus to terminus, from north to south, the whole thing. So we have shelters along the way. I believe there's about 15 PATC managed shelters along the trail, and there are several cabins that are right on the trail, but also several within striking distance. So we're in Michaud State Forest right now. Ray picked me up at the trail earlier today, and it was just about a 30-minute drive, which isn't so long when you're in the mountains, to this cabin. And we're using it as base camp so that I can resupply and refuel and everything. But the broader purpose of the trip is to prove that the Tuscarora is hikeable. It is so underutilized and in places under-maintained. It's very rugged. It's very tough. But for an avid backpacker, it's totally doable. And we have the shelters, and we have even cabins if you want a more luxury stay throughout the trip. So I'm taking full advantage of that. I'm basically glamping my way down the Tuscarora. But so far, even though it's been really tough, first 2 days, it's been really fun, and in a crazy way, it's really enjoyable.
Great. And so you're averaging about 25 miles a day to get this done in 10 days. Is that correct?
That is the plan. As I alluded to earlier, I also want to say, I sort of cut the last answer short. It's the overall goal is to show off all the assets that PATC has and the volunteers to make it happen. So this is 2 staff people right now, but throughout the trip I'm going to interview several volunteers and get them involved and get them on camera and just show people that, look, they're smiling. Come join us. So yeah, we need to grow the club. We need more people, and I'm trying to just show off some of its assets. 25 miles a day. Yes, very aggressive itinerary, but I'm working up to that. So today was supposed to be about 18. It turned into a 21-mile day, and tomorrow I have about the same distance, and then I work up to start covering that. My first big day that's going to put me ahead of that average rather than behind that average is, I think, 34 or something. But part of that is a good 6-mile stretch on the C&O trail, so that'll be very easy walking comparatively. So I'll breeze through that part. It'll be nice. It'll be like hitting the highway after being on a dirt road. So yeah, that's going to be a long day, but the next couple days I'm just hiking cabin to cabin, and then I have a 3-day stretch on trail. So that's the first of the 3-day stretch.
Awesome. And like you said, the Tuscarora is not as well known compared to the Appalachian Trail. What makes it different? What sets it apart from the AT?
Well, number one is just, the traffic. So I saw there was an area today where I went by a lookout called Flat Rock, and there was a handful of hikers up there. Today's a holiday, it's Labor Day, so you would think on a nice, beautiful day like today, there'd be a lot of people out on the AT, and probably all sections all over the AT had people hiking today. Well, that 1 mile stretch where a trail overlapped with a side trail down to a parking area for a scenic overlook was the only time I saw people all day. So this trail has almost no traffic. Because it's very overgrown in some sections. This section is the most overgrown, least maintained, because it's north of where Potomac Appalachian Trail Club maintains the Appalachian Trail. So for that reason, we have not a good of a trail maintenance network up here, but it's definitely somewhere where we could grow volunteers.
So would you say this is like a good test piece for an experienced backpacker?
Yes, I was just thinking today, like if you can do this, the section I did over 2 or 3 days, you're probably ready to do the 100-mile wilderness. Of course, there's the logistics of which is the northernmost section in Maine of the AT. There's of course the logistics of having the right gear, packing the right food and all, but if you physically can get around that trail, you're ready for just about anything. So the 100-mile wilderness is really rugged, and it's wilderness, so you have to be prepared. So if anything goes wrong out there, it's not an easy extraction.
And for those of the people watching who don't know, you thru-hiked the Appalachian Trail a few years ago. So what is the difference in your preparation? Are you seeing any differences in your hike so far?
Yeah, well, this is a big shock to the system physically, as I'm experiencing today. I'm just sort of recovering now. I was like lying on the couch 5-10 minutes ago, but I'm okay now. But it is definitely a shock to the system physically. I feel like I have much better trail knowledge, much better navigational skills, just from doing the AT, then coming to work for PATC. I spent at least 2 hours a day just looking at maps of things around this region. So I just understand the terrain really well. Like the map, just the confidence in that is better than the AT. Physically, I mean, I stay pretty fit. I hike a lot, I run a lot. But just jumping into this big thing that's like a sprint, not a marathon. So the AT is like a marathon because you just want to continue to make progress, and you're going to be out there for months and months and months. And just did a lot of rock scrambling, just trying to get the ankles strong. You put your foot on rocks in all different angles and stuff. And then I did like a practice hike around Jarman Gap Cabin last week. So I'm trying to I tried to pre-ignite my trail legs a little bit, which I think was good. I didn't want to come in overtrained and fatigued already, but I didn't want to be, fresh as a buttercup out there. I wanted some miles on my legs. So I also was like on the stair stepper a lot, because that's just like even though it's not technical in any way, it's just the motion of just lifting your knees and just going up elevation. So I've been climbing stairs. And a few days ago, you made a video about what you had in your pack for this trip, and it looked like you were going pretty ultralight, or at least that was the goal. So tell us a little bit more about what you packed, what you didn't pack, and it wasn't some ultralight expert would probably scoff at that, but it was pretty ultralight. It was the pack itself is ultralight. The tent I have is definitely ultralight. Just using a Nemo switch bag, sleeping pad. I have a really nice down quilt. So that all packs really small, and that would be like sort of the basics of and of course my kitchen, which is accurate. I would use that kind of kitchen setup if I was truly trying to be as light as possible. But then there was a few things that I decided would be useful, and I sort of sacrificed the weight for it. So, like we talked about, I had a little issue today with my water filter, so it's good that I have 2 water filters. I usually keep the smaller one on the outside of my pack, but now that one has been compromised. So I'm probably going to use the bigger one on the outside of my pack. And then I have this resupply bin here too, so tomorrow I'm just going from the trailhead to Silverman Cabin, so I can get even lighter. I don't need a tent for that, because I'm going to be at Silverman and then Little Cove the next day, so I can ditch the tent. Now that I'm going to have that water filter on the outside of my pack, there's a little carry case that it comes in that I'm going to ditch that. What else am I getting rid of? It's going to be hopefully a little lighter tomorrow. So I'm carrying some camera gear, which I have like 3 different attachment things for cameras, which is just not fun. But yeah, it's part of the project, so
Yeah.
So in a way, it is fun.
Yeah, and you're able to cut some corners, like you said, with your resupply boxes, and you're having
Yeah.
some meals at a few of the cabins. What's your go-to meal while you're out on the trail, though?
Honestly, everything. It's you just need to like replenish those nutrients. So like we had this perfect meal here: vegetable, carb, and protein, and that pretty much does it. And then of course sweet stuff. If you get into a there's some cake that I'm gonna eat when this is over. So yeah, just as much food really as possible. You want to keep up with your calories. You're depleting a lot of calories, but like stuff that's always good, like lasagna, pizza, cheeseburgers, like a good burger. Milkshakes. Oh, milkshake is like the best recovery food.
When you're not on the trail, all these foods.
Those are good too off the trail.
Do you have dessert on the trail?
I pack like cookies and Snickers bars and stuff, and sometimes I'll eat that after dinner just because you're sitting there and you want something sweet, but like nothing elaborate for desserts, just functionality. That desserts are sugars. I mean, yes, they taste good, but you're not like, oh, I'm gonna have dessert. It's like, I gotta eat this food.
You gotta get the calories in.
It's just for the sugar. Yeah.
Do you have a coffee routine for your mornings while you're backpacking?
Yes, usually for a weekend trip or whatever, I'll take the same thing you have, that AeroPress. I didn't take it on this trip. I'm just doing instant coffee, which is not very good, but it's good when you're out, when you're sitting on a rock and you just have a hot beverage on a cold morning. It's pretty good. So I've just been doing those, and I'm going to spend a bunch of nights at cabins. So I'll have a good cup of coffee most days, and then the days I'm waking up on trail, I'll just be roughing it with an instant coffee, but no big deal.
And like we said before, you're staying at a few of PATC's cabins along the way. Is there one that you're most excited about staying at?
That's a great question. The next 3 are some of my favorites. Not quite the next 3. We're going to be at Little Cove, which is an awesome group cabin. There's 4 rooms, so it's great for maybe a set of families or a larger group. Modern cabin, so we'll be cooking a meal, and hopefully I'm a little bit more refreshed when I get there, and I can enjoy a bonfire or whatever. So Little Cove, great wraparound porch. I'm just trying to talk up the cabin. I'm also the cabin coordinator, so go check out our cabins. So, yes, Little Cove, one of my favorites. Then Trout Run a few days later. Trout Run has one of our coolest interiors, I would say. Just very rustic chic. And that was redone about 2 years ago. Bruce Burbrick, who's a longtime volunteer, did a fantastic job of that, and has a nice team that assists him. But I think a lot of the vision and the outfitting of the cabin are him and his wife Allison, who do a great job. So top cabin choice. Another great one. Another modern cabin has 2 bedrooms downstairs and then a sleeping loft with 4 beds. So that's another good one for a decent sized group. I think both those bedrooms downstairs have big enough beds. You sleep a couple. And then Glass House is the final cabin. I'm going to be there 2 nights just because I'm getting shuttles from different spots on the trail. And Glass House has the most epic screened-in porch with a beautiful view of Fort Valley, looking at the East Ridge. So Glass House is pretty epic, and it's just an awesome place to sit and relax, which is pretty much all I want to do when I'm done hiking 25 miles.
For sure. And for anybody who is thinking about hiking the Tuscarora now after this interview, do you have some tips for them?
Yes, definitely have to plan to carry extra water, more than typical. The first 15 miles of the trail were just dry, so I relied on what I had packed. That got me into day 2 a little bit, and then I was starting to think about where to get water. I still had some in my bottles, but I was on the road to depletion. So eventually I did find water throughout the day. That maybe led to some complications, but definitely have to know reasonably when you have an opportunity to get water and plan accordingly. I would also just plan for the miles to be slower. I'm used to hiking 3-minute miles. I hiked some miles slower than 2 miles an hour. Did I say 3-minute miles? I meant 3 miles an hour. Hiking 3 miles an hour. I was hiking many times today less than 2 miles an hour. Many times today probably less than 1 mile an hour, just on some shorter stretches. But when it's steep, it is so steep. So my pace today was nothing special. So I would say lose maybe a mile an hour at least on this terrain.
That's good advice. And for anybody who maybe wants to volunteer on the Tuscarora, why would you tell people to volunteer here?
The way I look at it is, if you're a trail enthusiast, if you love to be out there, it is an opportunity to sort of take ownership of some part of that experience. And even if it's just a half a mile stretch, a 2 mile stretch, a 3 mile stretch, whatever, if you know that trail better than anybody else and you take pride in the people that hike through it, it could be very rewarding. And I think a lot of our maintainers that are already, dispersed on hundreds of other trails, working away would probably understand that ideology, I guess, that it's just ownership of something you are passionate about, and it's sort of up to you on how to, you could do as much or as little really if as you want, because right now many stretches there is none. So it's hard work, but it's rewarding work, and getting a lay of the land, there's something like rewarding about that. So if you know a few mile stretch better than anybody else, I think that's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's a beautiful area, right?
It's unbelievably beautiful. Yeah,
Super,
it's very secluded, almost untouched forest. So many different types of plants. I saw so many deer today. I saw so many interesting birds. I saw a hummingbird. I saw a couple snakes. Nothing. One I didn't know what it was. It had 2 yellow lines down its back.
Mm-hmm.
I only saw it briefly, so maybe there's 3 lines. I don't know.
Well, is there anything else you want people to know about the Tuscarora, or about your hike, or about any of our wonderful, beautiful cabins?
There's a lot I want everybody to know. Go to PATC.net, figure out how to rent a cabin, figure out which one works for you. If you're in Vienna area, consider volunteering at headquarters. If you're out in the mountains, consider picking up a section of trail, or maybe you're interested in a cabin. We could use maintainers at a handful of cabins, and then also helping hands on different larger work projects too. If you only want to come, a la carte, you could say, as you choose for different projects throughout the year. Love to get you in the network. So many opportunities. There's 1,000 things I could say right now, but
you guys can keep following Ben's journey. He's going to be posting pretty much as often as he can on our social media. So follow us on Instagram and here on YouTube. And that's it.
It's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
All right, good job. Those are good questions.